is very important to us. Please hold.
Hello and welcome back to
On hold with Leo and
Hello
Roman.
and welcome back.
Please hold.
Hello,
On
hello,
hold.
welcome back. Hello and welcome back.
Please hold.
On hold with Leo and Roman.
Hello, welcome back. Hello, welcome back. Hello, welcome back.
Please hold.
I want to discuss the issue of accountability and how difficult it is for us as people to take accountability for our actions. And I mean like our actions, like your action. I think I've said it enough now that I was married and I divorced, right? Now, it's easy for people or for myself to also feel and believe that I'm the victim, or maybe I did everything right. I did it by the book. The issue was my ex-husband who was doing this, that, and that. And that's why we divorced or pushed me to divorce or whatever the case is. Even if that could be the case, guys, the issue is here, I also had a part to play in everything. I don't know if you get me. Like there's parts I played in it, and it may not be maybe as gruesome, but it could be things like being silent, things like allowing for situations to carry on, and maybe not confronting certain situations. It could be about staying when I didn't need to stay, or anything like that. And those are the things that I'm learning to take accountability for, because those were my choices. Those were my actions. They were not anybody's actions. So instead of me deflecting and saying, but I was thinking about this, but he pushed me to this, but this, and rather not like positioning it as if I was made to make the decision, I don't know, or pushed to make the decision, rather than accepting that, no, I could have done things better. Maybe my communication was not as great as I thought it was. I mean, I was married very young, at 22, 23. What did I learn about relationships and communicating in relationships? I probably didn't know just as much. Maybe I knew it, but not to the depth that is required. I mean, I sit here now, I'm 40 years old, and I can tell you that I probably wasn't as great. So probably my communication style, probably the timing of my communication, the way I communicated, maybe I wasn't listening well enough. I did also, allow for things to happen and really not confront them, or not express myself in terms of how I'd like things to be done for myself, or things like that. There's things, and what I mean is just like there's things and issues and decisions and actions that I did that I need to account for. That if I don't account for, I will not know what to change, and I'll probably carry on to the next relationship thinking I'm just the best and using the same formula I used. It probably didn't work. So also, reflecting on, okay, what could have also made the situation better or worse or whatever. So I think about those things these days and want to learn to say, listen, it was not all one-sided. I could have also done better for myself or for my children, or at least voiced out to this man to say, this is where I am, communicated much better. So, there are things that I do acknowledge that probably did not do as well. And that's me accounting. And I just wonder that, in life, we always like to deflect things. We'll always like to say, this thing made me do this person made me do this. We never really account for what we did, or what our actions are, what decisions we made. And it's very worrying. I see it in my son sometimes, and it triggers me. And I'm like, no. You're going to have to account that this was your decision. If you were with your friends and you guys decided that you're going to stay and way past your curfew, you have to account for what decision did you make. You decided to stand and stay. You decided you're not going to look at your phone and look at the time. You can see the sun is setting. So don't come here and say, no, this one said we must stand, this one said we must first go to, no, how? You have your own decisions to make, you have your own things, actions that you need to take. You can account for that to say, okay, ma, yeah, I didn't voice out that I have a curfew, or I also went with the flow, or something like that, because I want them to understand that you have a decision in the action, unless really you are under duress and you cannot decide. But other than that, you do have a brain to use and think about, okay, here's the situation, what was my part in it that I need to agree to. I'll give you another example. My son was provoked at school, and I think it was an altercation first, and the other boy beat him. So he said, Mom, he beat me, so I beat him back. And obviously I was defending myself because I wasn't going to let him beat me like that. So the school suspended both of them, and there was a hearing for both of them. So if you listen to the story, most people that I tell the story to would say, okay, but he was standing up to himself and all of that. I agree, he was standing up to himself, but he still needs to account for his own action, which was beating the child back. There's many ways of standing up to yourself or protecting yourself or whatever, but at that moment, the decision he made to fight back is what you are going to account for. It's like if there's a crime and somebody assaults you and you assault them back, yes, there's self-defense to a point, but you are going to still have to explain yourself for your part. And then you can then say, now you're on the defense side. And then you can say, yeah, this was the situation and I needed to defend because I was afraid of my life or whatever. But at that point and at that moment, you have your action in your hand. And then you're in a defense to try and prove that you actually did it for a right reason or for whatever the reasons were. But you're going to have to account for that action. You raising your hand, you responding like that, you're going to account for it. So, relationships, we see it. People fight over phones. Hey, I found this on your phone. I found you talking to girls, you're cheating. Now the guy is angry. Like, when did you go through my phone? Why did you go through my phone? Now the issue is about you went through my phone. Now they're deflecting the issues. Like, can we not talk about you cheating? No, we will have to talk about you going through my phone. Both issues are valid, but one doesn't want to talk about theirs. They want to deflect to say, yeah, this and this and that. And the whole issue about, yeah, no, I cheated because you don't do this, you don't do this. No, you made your own decision to go cheat. You made your own decision to do whatever you want to do. Don't deflect the issue back on me and say, because I stopped doing this, I gained weight, whatever. The action that you decided to take, account for that and say, yes, I went to do this. Whether your reason is valid or not valid to you or whatever, but I did this. At least acknowledge that, account for that. I think before we used to hear worse stories where you find your husband or somebody cheating, and then they come back and beat you and say, beat you for catching them in the act or something like that. That's the deflection I'm talking about. It's like, but you were the one that cheated, so why are you beating me now? Like, what the hell, So, many times we don't account for issues. I speak to a lot of people also just like, I don't know what happened. This was what happened. Even with work, I don't know what happened. This was what I was doing every day, and I did it so well for so many years, and all of a sudden, but you don't sit to reflect to say, okay, where could I have contributed? You must remember, like I said, your silence also contributes. So if issues happen and you decide, I'm just going to keep quiet, that's a contribution, girl. So you're going to contribute silence, you're not fixing anything. So when things are not going to go right, at least account for that, to say, no, I kept quiet as well. So I can't expect anybody to understand what I wanted or to know what I needed or to know where I was hurting, because I didn't say it. So at least then take responsibility for that. But yeah, let's talk more. Tell me more about what we do what do you think about accountability? Where do you see it? Where have you seen it not work well? It's a lesson we all have to learn. Like all of us. Even, I don't know, even parents and whatever. Like, it's so easy to blame. I'm thinking now of another story that makes me laugh. Hey, one day I'll share that one. Because things happen and somebody says, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I think maybe there's bad luck. Dude, just account for the part that you did. Yes, you lie and want to blame somebody else and think there's a black cloud over you and everything. But did the black cloud now decide to push you into what? Tell me. I know you guys have stories. And the more I talk about it, the more I'm remembering a whole lot of them where you can just see to say, dude, this is you. Or girl, this is you. This has got nothing to do with anybody else. But yeah.